All right, time now for Pick Six, brought to you by BetMGM. Place your moneyline, prop, parlay, and same game parlay bets at BetMGM. Download the app today. Please gamble responsibly each week. 6 games. We pick it against the spread. Mark's got his deuce dog of the week. Bark for me, please. Remember, these lines are current as of Tuesday and can change. All right, Pick Six, brought to you by BetMGM. I will start, guys, with one of 5 ranked matchups here in week number 9. Number 12, Notre Dame, favored by 12.5 against 24th ranked Navy. They're meeting at MetLife Stadium in New Jersey. Notre Dame's kind of owned this rivalry as of late. 6 straight wins in the rivalry, including in 11 of the last 12 meetings. Navy's last victory over the Irish, got to go back to 2016. Let's give Navy some love, guys, right? 6-0 for the first time since 79. They've won every game this season by double digits. Only 3 programs have done that this year. Navy, Army, and who else? Indiana. How about those 3? Wow. How about those 3, guys? Again, Navy outscoring their opposition by 25 points a game. Tied for second best turnover differential in FBS this season. They are plus 12 in turnovers. They've won the turnover battle 5 straight games. They're yet to lose a turnover battle. Their offense is unreal, right? Averaging almost 45 points a game. They've scored at least 30 in every game this season. Their rushing offense, they go for 275 essentially a game. But Notre Dame D, allowing less than 12 points per game this season. They've held all 7 opponents under 25. In 6 of the last 7 games, they've held the opposition under 17. We talk about the great rushing of Navy. Guess who's pretty good against the rush? Yeah, Notre Dame. They only allow 113 a game. They've held each of the last 2 opponents under 3 yards per carry. They're really starting to figure it out. Last week, Georgia Tech only found 64 yards on the ground, 2.2 yards per carry. There is so much in me that wants to say Navy can pull off this upset at a neutral site, but I see Notre Dame guys winning it in East Rutherford, but they will not cover that pretty big spread. Alabama in action, Mark, at home.
My goodness.
Taking on number 21, Missouri, another ranked game.
My goodness. Come on, Bama.
Come on, Bama.
Come on. You know, I'm still I'm through and through Bama. We got the big Bama speaker in the building. Shout out to my boy Adrian Hubbard. We got the big Bama speaker. You know what I mean? I'm still Bama through and through. But listen, man, what are things you knew about Alabama when Coach Saban was the coach? They're gonna do 2 things. They're gonna take care of the football. They're gonna play good defense. They've got multiple turnovers in 3 straight games, and they're allowing over 30 points per game in the last 4. Now they welcome a Missouri team coming into Bryant-Denny Stadium at Saban Field. You like that now, huh? But listen, Missouri, I just can't buy the Missouri stock because I picked them to beat A&M, and they got their back blew out.
By that. Still haunted by that.
It's the bad things that hurt me, Stoner. It's the bad things that hurt me.
You were screaming at Missouri when watching that game on
but Missouri, I picked them on national TV, and they got their back blew in by freaking
They got the
A&M.
Belt on the backside, baby. They got Mid-South wrestled.
Belt to tail. So I think Alabama is going to bounce back. Please bounce back for me. Please. I think they're going to bounce back. I thought the defense played a lot better. They had turnovers. They gave the offense more than enough opportunities to win the game versus Tennessee. So I think the defense is going to play well. Jalen Milroe last week had one of his worst games since probably Texas last year. So I think he's going to bounce back. The run game has to get going. Our traditional run game with Jam Miller and Justice Haynes, dominant line of scrimmage, have to get better at that. Like, we're not running the football like we usually do. Defense, we have to stop the run. And you have Missouri coming into town who has Luther Burden III, who has Brady Cook. They have a good offense, but they have been inconsistent. The defense hasn't been turning the ball over. In the SEC play, they're allowing over 28 points per game. So I see this as a game for Alabama to get back on track. So maybe I should pick Missouri because last time I picked them,
don't do it.
They laid an egg.
Don't. Man. All right,
But
so
I
you
got
got
Bama
Bama.
in this one. I got
All right,
Bama in this one.
you got Bama. Team Big Noon Kickoff in Columbus for the second time this season. The Buckeyes this week, they stayed at number 4 following their bye week after coach that 1-point loss to now number 1 Oregon. They are favored. Big spread here, 25.5 points over Nebraska.
Yeah, this is pure mindset. Two teams that one's a wounded animal. You know, Nebraska got. I mean, that was a beating that not many expected. I went back and watched the film, and it was awful. And I know Coach Rule and Tony White, the DC, are going to get some things fixed. But this is back-to-back road games, and they're not easy road games. To go to Indiana, fly home, have to deal with all the nonsense, and try to regroup, and then get on a long flight to Columbus, Ohio. And then you got Ohio State at home. They've had 2 weeks to get ready for this. I think this might be a beating again. I think the Ohio State's going to get that defense fixed. I understand Coach Day spent a lot of time over there. You know, the pass rush, 0 sacks against Oregon. The secondary gave up some big hits. Nebraska just doesn't have the firepower like Oregon did. So I think this is going to second half is going to get a little nasty in Columbus. So I got Ohio State covering.
It's going to
To
get
cover.
ugly.
All right, so a get-right game for the Buckeyes. They have been a little slow here and there. It'll be interesting how they start in Columbus. Let's stay in the Big Ten. Number 3, Penn State, favored by 6.5 on the road at Wisconsin. Has anyone been paying attention to Wisco since they got thrashed by Bama at home back in week 3? Maybe you need to. Wisconsin picked up their 3rd consecutive win over the weekend. I know it was against Northwestern, but during this 3-game winning streak, they've outscored the opposition 117-16 and have allowed just 1 touchdown defensively. So they're sitting now at 5-2. Last time we saw Penn State, what were they doing? They were rallying to force overtime at USC. They eventually won it in OT. Nittany Lions, 6-0, 3-0 in the Big Ten. This smells, it reeks of a classic trap game for the Nittany Lions. Ohio State coming to Beaver Stadium next Saturday on Fox. I still feel Penn State, is a little overvalued. We are. Thank you. They definitely they're going to have some of those look ahead flashes moments in them, but I'm going to give some credit to James Franklin. He takes a lot of heat. I think he's really dialed in with this program this year and knows what they have and knows what he needs to accomplish. Remember, there was that potential flag plant from his players at USC, and coach swoops in like he was on the flag team and just took the flag and kind of ran away with it as it was rippling in. He doesn't want to give anybody bulletin board material. I guarantee you he read that team the riot act after they rallied and won in OT at Southern California. He is not going to let them slip ahead of next weekend's massive game. Penn State wins and covers.
Ooh.
How about that? Covers. That was a tough one, though. That was a tough one. Let's stay in the Big Ten. Again, another ranked matchup. Urban, number 1 Oregon, favored by 21.5 over 20th ranked Illinois. This is the first time in a dozen years that Oregon sits at number 1. Back then, Chip Kelly was the head coach. Marcus Mariota was the quarterback. And they held that number 1 spot, guys. You know how long they held it for? 1 week. One week. Will they hold on to number 1 longer this year, Oregon and Illinois, Coach?
Illinois goes across the country here, and 2 of the best coaches in the Big Ten. I really enjoy watching their teams play. I would put Illinois a second to Indiana, but very close as far as taking good players and making them play great. They ran a fake punt against the Wolverines. You watch that film, they were a better team than the Wolverines. Every which way they were, better coaching, better fundamentals, really, really good football coach in Bielema. And then Dan Lanning, I think, is as good as there is. So this will be, I went back and forth on this. 21.5 is a lot.
It's big, Coach.
It's a lot, but I think Illinois is going to slow that game down, and I think they're going to cover that spread. I think Oregon's going to win. They'll win soundly because I think Oregon is really good, obviously. I mean, that's an obvious statement. But I think Illinois is they better sign him to extension. He's got to stay there for a while because that's a really, really good football coach and staff at Illinois.
I love that fake punt too, Coach. It was
Sure.
perfectly
Beautiful,
executed.
beautiful.
Remember, they had the flashback. They were wearing the old school uniforms, the
Yeah.
helmets that look like those leather, the leather caps. The thing that made me the happiest. I'm going on an Illinois tangent here because I love these type of stories. It's why I love in Indiana. It's why I love in Illinois. It's why I love college football. But I saw something from Brett Bielema that I didn't necessarily expect. The fans rushed the field, right? And the post-game interview with Bielema, did you see what he had in one arm and what he had in the other arm?
What do
His
you
2
have?
daughters. He had his daughters in
Ah.
each arm, and they had those beautiful little orange bows in their head, and it was just one of those images that I don't know, we've never really seen from Coach Bielema, or at least I haven't experienced it, but I've known him for a long time. He's one of my favorite human beings. He's an interesting cat who's having success. I'm really, really happy for him. I'm happy for his family. I'm happy for his little girls that Illinois is doing such good things this season in the Big Ten. All right, let's pivot. Last game, Coach. I'm sorry, no, Mark. SEC A&M favored by 2.5 at home to sneaky good number 8 LSU. This is an interesting one.
2.5?
2.5.
Thought it was 3.
It went down.
People are taking LSU. Ooh.
Are you buying it?
This is such an interesting matchup, Stoner, because both of these teams lost their opening game. They've won 6 straight since. Then now you have 2 polar opposites. You have the number 2 pass offense in LSU going against the number 2 rush offense of A&M. And I want to highlight this matchup on the O-line, LSU's O-line versus A&M's D-line. LSU hasn't allowed a sacks in 4 games, only 2 all season, while A&M defensive line led by Nick Scorton has had 12 sacks in 3 games. So you think if this A&M D-line can't get pressure on Garrett Nussmeier in this passing attack, that he's going to dice him up. But this LSU defense, that's my key. The defense was very shaky. We didn't know what they were going to look like. But they've held 3 of the last 4 opponents to what? They had 3 of the last 4 opponents to what I had here. Where is that? Yeah, under 20 points. So the rushing defense is doing a lot better. So I'm going with LSU's defense to play a lot better. I'm going with their offense to air it out. And I'm going with the upset, the underdog of the week, LSU, the Bayou Bengals, going in to College Station and getting the underdog of the week. I'm going with the Bayou Bengals.
Hey, I don't think Nussmeier's getting enough attention, getting enough love. What he's done. I mean, he is
Garrett Nussmeier,
moving
Kyron
on
Lacy.
from a Heisman Trophy quarterback, and he steps in and what he's done and some of the drama that he's pulled LSU through. Man, he's sneaky good, underrated.